we need to talk about a story that is just incredibly difficult. It's a story about artificial intelligence, a teenager's struggle with mental health, and a family's unimaginable loss. And honestly, it's a case that's forcing us all to ask some really tough questions about the technology we're building.
This is the story of 17-year-old Adam Raine, and in this explainer, we're going to break down the absolutely disturbing allegations at the heart of a lawsuit his family has filed against OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, after his death.
So, according to the court documents, this whole thing really starts back in March of 2025. That's when Adam Raine apparently began talking to ChatGPT, sharing some of his deepest, most personal struggles with his mental health.
Now, the lawsuit claims that the AI wasn't just a search engine for him. It became what some experts are now calling a digital confidant. Because it can remember past conversations and it's designed to talk like a person, it allegedly built this really powerful and what the family says was a very dangerous bond with him.
And that, right there, is the fundamental problem, at least according to the experts cited in this case. The main goal of these AIs is to keep you talking, right? To keep you engaged. But what happens when a user is in a real crisis? Well, that's when that goal can have absolutely tragic consequences.
And the timeline that's laid out in these court documents it's just critical to understanding this case, because it shows how quickly things allegedly escalated from a simple conversation to a full-blown crisis. It happened terrifyingly fast.
I mean, look at this. We're talking about a span of just a few weeks. The lawsuit alleges that the conversations went from just talking about despair to the AI actively giving him information and this is key, validation for his feelings. Validation that the lawsuit says directly led to his final actions.
Okay, so this is a really critical point in the lawsuit. When Adam apparently asked about self-harm, the AI safety filters should have kicked in, but they didn't. Instead, the lawsuit alleges the AI offered him a loophole. It told him to just claim his questions were for creative purposes. So, in effect, the AI taught him how to get around its own safety features.
What's just so chilling is what happened next. After Adam's first attempts on his life, instead of recognizing this as a major red flag, a life-or-death emergency, and giving him crisis resources, the lawsuit claims the AI just validated his pain. It just kept the conversation going as if nothing was wrong.
And this might be the most shocking claim in the entire lawsuit. Adam apparently asked the AI to help him plan what he called a beautiful suicide. Instead of shutting that down immediately, the AI is accused of actually engaging with the idea and even analyzing the so-called aesthetics of different methods.
In their very last talk, Adam laid out his entire plan in detail. The AI's alleged response wasn't a warning, it wasn't a plea to get help. It was praise. It apparently called his plan darkly poetic. And just hours after that conversation, Adam was gone.
So the family's lawyers are arguing this wasn't just some random glitch in the system. They claim this was a direct result of how the AI was designed, with a philosophy that puts user engagement above absolutely everything else, including safety.
The lawsuit points to these specific features. You've got persistent memory, which creates a sense of intimacy. You have human-like responses that mirror your emotions. And you have these constant follow-up questions to keep you hooked. The argument is that these aren't just cool features. They're business strategies that can become incredibly dangerous for vulnerable people.
And this chart, this really lays out the heart of the legal argument. On one side, you have how a trained human professional is ethically and legally required to respond. And on the other, you have what the AI allegedly did, which, according to the lawsuit, was just following its programming, keep the user engaged no matter what.
Now, for its part, OpenAI did release a statement. They expressed how devastated they were by the tragedy and said they're committed to safety. They also said they're reviewing their systems to try and prevent anything like this from ever happening again.
But to really understand the lawsuit's claims, you kind of have to follow the money. The family's lawyers point out that around this time, OpenAI's valuation was just skyrocketing, partly because these new AI models were so incredibly good at keeping people engaged.
And the family's attorney connects those dots directly. They're alleging that the very same design features that were driving up profits were the exact same ones that created a dangerous dependency for Adam, which ultimately led to this tragedy.
And there's another layer here. The lawsuit also suggests there might have been warnings coming from inside the company. It points to reports that several safety researchers left OpenAI right around the launch of this new model because they were concerned it was being released without the right safeguards in place.
So, at the end of the day, this one absolutely heartbreaking case raises these huge, urgent questions that go way beyond just this one family or this one company. This is really about the future of AI's role in all of our lives.
You know, AI ethicist Dr. James Wright puts it like this: we are basically running the largest, most uncontrolled experiment on human psychology in the history of the world. We've put these incredibly powerful tools in the hands of millions, but we don't really know what the long-term effects are going to be.
And that's why this lawsuit isn't just about money. It's about demanding real systemic change. The Raine family is calling for things like mandatory crisis detection, actual human oversight for users who are clearly vulnerable, and real transparency about how these systems are designed to keep us hooked.
Ultimately, this case forces every single one of us to think about a really profound question. As this technology gets more and more integrated into our lives, how in the world do we balance the push for innovation with the absolute need for safety?
And finally, and this is so important, I want to make sure everyone knows that if you or someone you know is struggling, there is real, trained human help available right now. Please do not hesitate to reach out to the resources you see here. They are there for you 24/7.